Central Texas once again. First off, I want to say thank you so much for all of those who subscribed. I guess you guys enjoy the content of my videos. Thank you for all the positive comments. And once again, thank you so much for those who hit the dislike button, because I like to think that those who are hitting the dislike button are still within the organization that I was once part of, and you're finally starting to use cognitive dissonance and research the organization, possibly of your birth or one that you've come to know as an adult. Thanks so much for letting me know that it might be bugging you what I'm saying, but so far I have not gotten any comments that would start quarrels in regards to what I'm saying, so much appreciated. Tonight, I want to touch on two subjects. It's been about a little over a week, going into 2 weeks since I've made a video, and I've had a pretty busy last 5 to 6 days that most probably would not envy, but I'm going to show you that there's a silver lining at the end of what I'm going to tell you what occurred since Saturday. So, I'm going to show you the way I used to think as a former witness and the way I think now. First off, Saturday, for those who don't know, I am married. We have a nice sized family with little ones. In our home, ages range from the 7 to 4, and we woke up in Central Texas to no heat on Saturday. By Sunday, we got an emergency repairman to come out and check our heater. Sad to report, it was on its last leg and went out. Those who know about what's going on in the Texas area know that the temperature has been in the 20s down here, and that's not favorable for when a heater goes out. The heat goes out. The repairman comes, he says he fixes it, and we think he fixes it. I leave out because I'm actually was about to head to Houston for a very important doctor's appointment. For those who don't know, I'm a patient at a very popular cancer research facility in the Houston area. So I had made plans to go to appointments in that area Monday and Tuesday. So I come back to my house after the repairman works on our heater, and he thinks he's repaired it. We think he's repaired it. We leave. I leave my shoes at home and turn around after remembering that, go back to the house to pick up my shoes. Smell something, and my alarms are going off in our house. And lo and behold, I get upstairs, and I could not see from the top of my stairs to my living room. The house is that smoked up. What happened is the unit came on, overheated, and wasn't tripping the circuit breaker, so nearly set our house on fire. Call the maintenance guy back up. He comes out and says that 1, it's a Sunday, so he can't get a new part. 2, Monday is Martin Luther King's birthday, so the store possibly won't be open. And short end of the story, my wife and children end up in a hotel in our town from Sunday to today. They literally just checked out this afternoon. Again, that appointment that I had, well, first off, the heater is fixed now. I'm enjoying the heat as it's coming down on me, so we're not freezing. I make my way to Houston to go to my appointment by myself. 3-hour drive. Don't get to see my physician, my oncologist, on Monday. I take a rental to Houston, a 2017 Cadillac, brand spanking new Cadillac that they hooked the brother up with from a local rental car place. after not making my appointment Monday, or not being able to see my physician Monday, I come out of the parking lot of this facility and get pulled over because I've driven all the way to Houston, Texas with a rental car that has bad tags. Now, you might be thinking that that's not a big deal. Let me put you up on something that you might not be aware of. If you are if you have my melanin count and you're in a very nice car and you got your hat turned back and you comfortable and you chilling and you just coming from a main hospital, you might get pulled over. And the reason why he pulled me over was because my tags were bad. Yep, they rented me a car with bad tags. So, he gave me a warning when I proved to him that it was a rental. And I went back to my hotel, got up the next morning. Well, that night I knew that an ice storm was coming into the Texas area. It's actually focusing in on Houston. So, I get up, go to my appointment, have a discussion again in regards to a procedure, actually a transplant, that hopefully will get me off of chemotherapy. During the course of that meeting, my doctor lets me know that because I don't have Part D prescription Medicare coverage, they have to get that approved first because the medication to keep me alive throughout that procedure, just the medication, not the treatment, but just the medication, is $1.6 million for the first month. Then 15 to 20 grand per day for the next 2 months after that. So until I get approved for those meds, they won't be able to proceed with the procedure. So I got that in my mind, but again, I'm going into my 6th year of fighting leukemia, so that might be disheartening to hear. It's not something that I wasn't possibly expecting. And for those looking at me saying, Ron, you don't look like you are that sick, I can still go to 25 Fitness, bench 350. I'm still over 300 plus pounds, and I've been on chemo going on 6 years. But you can ask anyone who personally knows me. I qualified for hospice over a year and a half ago. In 2016, actually in January of 2016, 2 years ago now, I qualified for hospice. And there are plenty of people who have vouched for that. So thankfully, I'm still here, and I'm not giving up that fight. So anyway, this isn't a pity party. Again, I want to express to you the way I used to think and the way I think now. So I leave Houston in the middle of an ice storm after that appointment. Now, originally I was going to drive up to Chicago to try to see my mother, who's still inside the organization, and try to possibly go to her Kingdom Hall and see her before I go through this life-altering procedure. But there being an ice storm in the Houston area and me finding out that my tags are bad on this 2017 Cadillac, and me driving DWB, and for those who know what I'm talking about, you might be getting a laugh out of what I'm saying, but me being DWB and in a nice car, I wasn't going to chance driving to Chicago to surprise my mother. And then on top of that, the heater still wasn't fixed Tuesday. So I made my way back to Austin. It's a 160-mile-hour trip between Houston and Austin. There were points in that trip coming out of the Houston area that I was doing 30 miles an hour, and I had a lot of company on the freeway with me. If you're in the Houston area, you can validate that it was raining sleet and ice, and the highways, Highway 10, because I was on it, 290, they were covered in ice. So Thankfully, I made it back to Austin in one piece. I did not take the car back to the rental place, the local place in the Houston area, because they shut down all the banks Tuesday, and they shut down the schools. They shut down pretty much everything, so I couldn't swap the car out. Came back to Austin, turned the car in the next day because I didn't get home till 5, 6 o'clock. Actually didn't get home, got to a hotel, and got to share that lovely room with my wife and 3 small children up until today. So, why am I telling you all of my business? Again, it's not for sympathy or anything like that. My perspective has changed since I've awakened to this, what's going on in this organization. It's awakened big time. If I was inside the organization and I heard what Ron has gone through in the last couple of days, I would have said Ron must be doing something wrong, and he's reaping what he sows, and God must be punishing him for leaving the organization. That's what I would have thought as a former witness. Oh man, he needs to get his act together. He needs to get right and get back to Jehovah. How do I look at it now, though? I look at it as I am blessed beyond compare. 1, I'm not in an organization that protects pedophiles. I'm not in an organization that flips-flops on doctrines. I'm still here. I told you I've been fighting leukemia since 2012. So the fact that I'm still here and able to make this recording is a blessing. I'm married to a beautiful spouse who has my back. I know people in the organization who fake the funk and don't even sleep in the same room with their spouse right now. That's not the case for me. I've been on chemotherapy going on 6 years, and I don't need the little blue pill to keep it real. Not yet. I had the finances for my wife to stay in a hotel in Austin while I was staying at a hotel in Houston. Even though I got the news in regards to the procedure of 1.6 million, it doesn't stress me out because I'm grateful for still being alive. So where others will see that as a negative, things will happen and I'll get approved and, I'll get the procedure. So I'm not tripping off of that. But when I was in that organization, I would have looked and said, man, this is what he's getting. And for those watching this video who are inside the organization right now, that's what you might have thought when I first started this video. Those things happened to him this week is because he's left Jehovah's loving umbrella. This ain't got nothing to do with my father's loving umbrella. I still 100% believe in God, and I still know he has my back. I made it from the Houston area and drove past dozens of cars that had slipped off the road who had accidents. I saw tractor trailers, and I drove past them and made my behind back to the Austin area safe and sound. So those are all blessings and positives. When I got back to Austin, my wife and children were in a warm hotel room with a TV. If you notice, if you look in the background on my videos, we don't own a TV. Me and my wife haven't owned a TV going into 9 years, and that's intentional because we like to be thinkers, and we know that TV suppresses, especially when you're young, can suppress your thoughts. So we don't get me wrong, we watch programs, but we watch them through our electronic devices. As far as having a TV that's always designated to be in the background, we don't own a TV. So I just wanted to share that with you. When you're a witness and you're in a high control group, the way that they manipulate you and control you is through fear. If you don't do what we say, you're going to reap what you sow in a negative way. I have not reaped in a negative way. All I've received since I've left that organization is the ability and the freedom to think for myself and not be under a master manipulator. Because that's all it is. They manipulate you, they use you. And if you don't have anything to add, they literally throw you away. Trust me, there's plenty of Bethelites who will attest to that. That some of them got removed when they moved to Warwick. That's my thoughts on that subject. I got one more subject to cover. It's going to be a confession and an apology. It won't be too long. I saw a video a while ago and a brother made a statement, an ex-witness made a statement about the fact that witnesses use the excuse when they're cornered in regards to different things that might happen in an organization with fellow witnesses, especially elders or even a governing body. They'll say, well, they're imperfect men. And I personally, this is my confession, if someone brought it up to me that someone was acting up or clowning or a teaching was wrong and they had to correct it, I even did it with my wife because she wasn't raised a witness. I used the excuse to, well, they're imperfect men. Now when I look back and think about that, that was so stupid. Why was that so stupid? And I want you to tune in and pull up if you're a current witness. Why is it so stupid to let people know that the governing body are imperfect or that your local elders are imperfect? Simple. Raise your hand if you're imperfect. I'm pretty sure everyone watching this video has to raise their hand because guess what? We're all imperfect. So when you're out in the ministry and you're having a study or you're talking to a family member, you're trying to pull into this organization using the excuse that when someone questions you and they got you cornered and you say, well, this happened because of imperfection. All religions, all faiths have people who are imperfect. All people have interpretations that fall short of the grace of God. That's the honest to goodness truth. So, calling somebody out and saying that they're imperfect while at the same time looking for them to excuse the imperfections going on in the organization you're currently in, but then point and highlight the imperfections of someone who's a Catholic, Protestant, Lutheran, Mormon, Scientologist, whatever, is being hypocritical. It's definitely being hypocritical because we're all imperfect. And to turn around and point at them when they can literally do research that you're not allowed to currently do and find all the imperfections going on in this organization is silly, it's trivial, it's childish, and I am frankly embarrassed by the fact that I used to pull that ploy on people. So for all those in the Chicagoland area, when I was growing up trying to be a fervent regular pioneer, because I did pioneer, for those in Missouri I witnessed to, and I use that excuse on for those in Central Texas, that for the nursing staff who've had to deal with me in the hospital who might have pointed out different things that they knew about this organization. And I said, well, guess what? They're imperfect and they're gonna make mistakes. They probably was thinking, Ryan, you seriously? Because who are you to call someone else imperfect when you're imperfect yourself and everyone on this planet is imperfect? So for those people who I use that excuse on, I apologize sincerely. That was bogus of me. That's my 2 cents for the night. Again, that tale of what happened earlier this week was not a cry for help. My father has my family's back, so we're good. I hope you guys are safe and sound where you're at. And if you like the content in this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button or subscribe. Appreciate that. I am getting more comfortable making these videos, and I hope to continue to do so in the near future. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.